Hi, this is Chrissy. Welcome to a Yogi with a Bujo. So, a little bit about me. I am a lapsed and returning bullet journalist, bullet journaler, however you say it. I don't know if this is something that I'm going to be able to keep up, so because of that, I'm not investing in a fancy light or music or anything at this point. Nothing will be sped up as we go. This is just for me to see if this is something that I have the interest and the time to keep up with before I commit to it. So what I'm going to walk you through today is how my September looks, how I organized my September, and how that has influenced what my October will look like. Just a few things about me. I practice yoga every day. I teach yoga. I have a full-time job. I'm a life coach. There's a lot of stuff that this helps me keep organized. Otherwise, I would just be a collection of Post-it notes. So, I think my candle just went out. Okay, anyway, this is what my September looks like. Actually, we start one page back. So my mood mandala is inspired by Bujo Mama and Boho Berry. This is the first time I've done anything like this. Like I said, I was away from bullet journaling for about a year. I found bullet journal on people on YouTube and I was like, I can do this. When I sat in Panera last month and drew this out, I was like, I am not artistic enough for this. This is going to look so different for me, and I love this. I love the commitment that it took for me to draw out the mandala, and I really like paying attention to how I felt every day. So I ended up starting with joyful, content, productive, and restful. I added in love, distracted, and jittery. It ended up that jittery and the blues were really close, so they just kind of fed together. And I only used distracted and in love once. So when I do my October video, you'll see that my feelings changed up a little. But like I said, I love the way this looks. And it's funny, I can look back at this and say, the day I was, this was car trouble. This was car trouble. This was work issue, and this was car trouble. So being able to see how, like, once this is resolved, I gathered myself and gives me, just really shows me that what is going on right now doesn't have to impact what goes on the days after things are figured out. So this is my mood mandala, and that's a little bit of what I learned. This is my calendar for September, my monthly spread. I leave a bookmark here just so I can always turn to this. Again, this was my first month back. A lot of things happened this month to impact that I didn't go on all the walks that I wanted to go on. I didn't follow up with Yoga Unchallenged, but that's mostly because I went to a lot of studio classes this month. And I unofficially worked on my handwriting with Positive Scribes, but again, not focused. So this isn't pretty, but it's okay. I made 13 out of my 15 yoga classes in studio this month. Super proud of that. And I'm excited to see how I continue that into October. So this is my habit tracker page. This did not go well. I just feel like this was a page that I didn't really pay enough attention to. And this was where I was hoping to look at the connections between my habits, how I slept, how I ate, how I walked, what type of yoga I did, and what time I unplugged, what that would have, what impact that had on just my typical physical experience. It just fell apart. I could see early on that it didn't work, so I just quit using it. This is my habit tracker for the month, and I love it. This was just a way that I set up here, a practice and curiosity. I wasn't looking to do all of these things every day. I was interested in seeing what I did, how often I did it, and if I felt like I did it enough. And I was also looking for connections between things like my cycle and my stressful times in the month at work to see how all of this went. I didn't drop anything for October. I added a few things, But again, just for a practice and curiosity, not this pressure of I need to do all of these things every day. This was my yoga tracker for September. Like I said, I made 13 out of 15 classes. I went ahead and wrote down the options for classes so I wouldn't have to keep looking on my phone. I just knew I had this available to me. I still need to go and fill in my favorite and my bravest classes of the month. This was my first weekly spread. I set this up when I set up the rest of my bullet journal, so there wasn't a lot of time that I spent on this, and this was how I typically bullet journaled in the past. A very clean, very clear-cut weekly spread with intentions and things on the horizon, and this is straight up from Bujo Berry. This is an example of my dailies. I just write out the day and the dates. I pick a certain set of pens that I use all through the month. So I don't carry my entire collection with me. I just carry the flares that I'm like, yeah, these are the ones that I want to work with this month. I paperclip some days together that I'm not willing to share. And then more dailies, some handwriting practice, some doodles, again, handwriting, dailies. And then this is my first weekly spread where I was being creative with the mandalas. I like the way this turned out. I really like the brights from Tombow. These are a couple of the brights. I really like how they all go together. Yeah, I talk a little bit more my last weekly spread about this, but these are some stencils from Moxie Dory. I don't have this set upstairs with me, but this is another stencil that I got from her. Some more dailies. This is my second weekly for September. This one is probably my favorite. I was starting to get a little braver with playing with the mandala. I had never drawn a mandala before September. So starting with my mood tracker, this was it. And I am not a creative person. I am not particularly artistic. Things are very uneven. I love how forgiving this process is. I started my food tracker on the 10th of September. I really like this setup. I just spiral in everything I've eaten every day. I like that there's no numbers. There's no calorie counting. There's no micros or macros. There's no judgment. It's just an awareness of what I eat, which is good for me to go back and look at, oh, so I had Starbucks how many days this week just by looking, for venti iced latte. I really like this system of just awareness and accountability without any sort of fixation. I keep track of a lot of different things in my bullet journal. These are some mantras that I found. It goes back, I have an arrow down here showing page 7, which is where my previous, or the last page that I have mantras written on. So I had 5, 6, on page 7, I have an arrow showing that the next time I visit the spread is on 43, and here they are again. Some more dailies, some dailies in a doodle that I don't know what this was about. This is not, I don't like this at all, but it's there. There we go. Another weekly spread, again, really enjoy it. Really like the Tombows in the brights. So pretty. It made me want to come back to it and work on it because I enjoyed looking at this spread so much. This is an idea of a coaching program that I have. Dailies, handwriting practice, more dailies. This is a coaching / yoga program that I'm thinking about doing maybe if I had unlimited financial resources. These are different journals that I would keep, different bullet journals. and just some ideas that when I feel like I'm needing something creatively, these are some other ways to do connections, to do collections that aren't just held in my actual bullet journal. I'm planning on starting a walk-run program in October. This is what I envision my weekly tracker to look like for that. Some dailies and some doodles. So this is my current weekly spread, and I don't like it. I wish I would have stuck with the theme of the brights, but it's okay. It's okay. It's not perfect, but I still like it okay. The thing that I learned from this spread is the red of the Tombow is the only Tombow that bleeds. I don't have any problem with any other. I mean, actually, they're all amazing except for the red. I like the red enough that I overlook it, to be honest. Some more dailies. Yesterday's daily, I'll fill this page with some sort of doodle, and then this is my transition page for October. So that's it. This is my bullet journal for September. I'm going to go ahead and just pop these in the October pages that aren't finished yet. And there we go. So if you have any questions for me, just leave them in the comments below. You can offer a subscribe. I don't know how often I'll post, but probably pretty frequently until I figure out if this is something that is for me or not. So either way, I'm glad you're here, and I'll see you soon.